Hey guys, what's going on? Kyle with TheCardGuyz. I'm joined by a familiar face, Justin Graham. You're still on your nonsense, and
it's only nonsense if you don't bring Nolan.
Yeah, fair enough. You ended up getting top 4 at our Pro Quest here in Atlanta with Kano, out of all things. So as it stands, you're the only one at top 8 with a Kano though, which is kind of neat, and you like that. So
I do.
Tell people why you like Kano.
Because if you're not prepared, you lose, and if you are prepared, I can still high roll you out of the game.
I like it. And so I guess with with Everfest being released, you did have a certain card that was a couple cards that was muy bueno for you. But how do you think Kano's positioned right now in general?
He's in an awkward place. He only has 2 matchups that I consider not super favored. Starbo's iffy.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss. If they high roll before you can, you lose. If you high roll before they can, you win.
That's the format right now,
That is, but against every other aggro deck, we just blow them out.
Sure.
The other matchup is Prism. There's 3 lists I've seen. Aggro Prism, you're fine to race with as long as you hit Wildfire. The 27 ore list that's running AB4 is super hard, but if they don't have the Kano practice, they're going to misplay at some point. They're going to jam out their last ore, not have a card in hand, and you punish them then when you can. And then there's a 27 ore list on 2 AB, and that's your best matchup for Prism.
Am I the one that's currently in top 4?
Yeah, that's the one I was hoping to hit instead of Nam.
Okay, well, what were your rounds like? To let people know kind of what the meta was that you ended up facing.
Round 1 was Starvo. I got high rolled 3 turns in a row, and I didn't high roll him back, so he wins. Round 2 was, I just said this and I forgot. Kano. I had the only other Kano at the store.
You did play the Kano mirror.
He made 2 misplays. One misplay and 1 deck problem. He had Sonic Boomed and missed, and he Wildfired on my turn. Wildfire is not a card I suggest playing against Kano, because Wildfire says action card, not action card you control. So he Wildfired for me, and for 5, I took it and hit him back for 96.
Wait, what?
He played a Wildfire on my turn, hit me for 5 because I took it, activated Kano, and I responded and hit him back for 96. Because Wildfire says action cards, not action cards you control.
Bruh. That's incredible. That's one you write home about.
You don't play that card. I took it out of the deck completely. I just yeeted it out and brought in 4 blues.
Okay.
Or 3 blues, because I played 3.
So after round 2, which one?
Starbo.
Another Starbo.
I high rolled him.
Fair enough.
Letsy. I high rolled her. Well, the Letsy match was weird. I've never played against Letsy in CC.
It was the Ice Lexi.
It was one of the. There's 2. Yeah. It was one of the Ice Letsy's. He made me have it going in for a dominate turn, but he had AB2 at 1 life. So I had to hit any non-blue off the top.
Yeah.
And I hit a non-blue off the top.
Yeah.
That's round
4 now?
Round 4 and 5.
Excuse me, 5.
That was 4, yeah. Round 5 was Starvo. We high rolled him. It was very close. And then round 6 was good old Sebastian, who lost to a bad card in his hand. If he had anything bigger than a red, he beat me.
Yeah.
And he only had Null Rune 2 because he misread his deck.
Yeah, and he had Null Rune 2 because he misread his deck, which I think Null Rune 2 is better for him than 3. Because he can keep more cards to pressure damage.
Sure.
If you're letting me just ping you and wasting 3 cards a turn, you're not winning that race.
Well, let's get into this list. I know people really want to see this deck actually. So
no one wants to see this. They want to see it from a distance. No one wants it at their area. They just want to play. Oh, it's doing good, neat. Not it's here.
like we do.
Yeah, good old Neil over there changing decks when I walked in.
All right, well let's look at the list here. Let's go through it. Let us know about your equipment. It's obviously the same old equipment.
I run 5 equipment.
Yeah.
This says I have 33 life. This is expensive iron rot in most games.
Sure. Fair enough. All right,
this says Wildfire is a good card.
Yeah.
This is Wizard.
It says Wizard, yeah.
This says Wizard on it. There's no other playable weapon at this moment.
Okay.
For any Wizard.
Why not play the ice one from the new set?
It's bad.
All right, let's see the reds. Let's go through it color by color, and then we'll go through sideboard.
All right.
Talk to me about that.
So previously, I've always actually hated Blazing Aether. I thought it was a bad card. I only ran 1 in my list. It's so hard to hit, and if you run into AB4 randomly, you're just kind of left in the dust.
Yeah.
The printing of Wildfire made Blazing Aether a playable card, in my opinion.
Okay.
Aether Flare's always just been a staple in the deck. Same for Tomes and Reverberates. Spindles is a new card for me, or not new, but newish, for the Scry ability, because I'm playing to scroll through my deck. Stir is just a way to go through. Snapbats are there for the Wildfire. We added Zaps for 2 reasons. One is to make the Wildfire turns more possible, because they are a way to, it's a 0 off the top. And the other reason is for a sideboard card that we'll get to later. And then Aether Wildfire is literally how you...
Tell me about this card.
Yeah. I bet you wanted to. I bet you cried a little when they printed this card.
I was pretty happy.
Yeah.
We might have released a little. The card, I think, it makes all of your aggro matchups almost unlosable, and it made Aggro Prism a winnable matchup.
Yeah.
It says that decks that run Null Rune, if you take 2 cards on their turn, unless they have a good weapon, they can't pitch play their last card, ever. They have to hold the resources or they just lose.
Yeah.
Because if it's there on top, the game ends. Buffing the board is ridiculous. Just remember, it says action card, not action card you control. If you're playing against Briar and you see a Sting of Sorceries, don't play it. Because if you don't kill them, they will kill you. Because every attack will get whatever it hit for. We will not let that happen. I'm not getting 7 from a Sting of Sorceries every time.
Well, tell me about your your 12 yellows here.
So the base yellows that's always been in the deck, Sonic Boom, Lesson Lava, and Tome. Sonic Boom has always just been there. It's how you go wide. Lesson Lava was one of your OTK options. If they don't have Null Rune, it's 3 lessons into a Blazing Aether.
Yeah.
And Tome has been a draw effect. Spindle is new into the meta. I needed more pumpable 3 attacks with relevant hit effects to make Starvo use their Crown of Seeds and AB3.
Yeah.
I have to take 2 cards from their hand every turn, or the matchup's near unwinnable. That's the yellows.
What about the blues here? We'll get to the sideboard afterwards.
There's no actual difference between my blue list than normal.
This glare is wild.
I know a lot of people run Cindering Foresights or Emeritus Scolding. I don't like cards that deal blanket damage, and I don't like cards that do nothing, which I think is what Cindering Foresight is. The only reason we added Zaps into the deck is the same thing as earlier for Wildfire triggers and one of the sideboard cards. Everything else has just been there forever. We're only playing Scalding Rains because we have no better blue option. It's a 1 for 2 that blocks 3. I don't have anything else that does that.
Sure.
I have a bunch of 2s, but we try to avoid 2s. We want 1s.
Okay.
And let's talk about the sideboard, because obviously we got a couple of new additions to the sideboard, plus a couple cards you haven't played, or a really niche card, and then a card you haven't played before.
Yeah.
In the side.
So
this is your sideboard here.
We'll start with sideboard from right. Scours are for 3 matchups. Not just any Rune Blade. Chain, because you can set them back to the Stone Ages if they try to play AB against you. Like letting them set up their good turns and then hitting them for 7, killing all their shackles is good. This says Viscera can't try OTK against you. And for Aura Prism, it's your only method to beat them. It's to kill off the auras that do relevant things, because they play a lot of 0 auras now. These 3 cards are only for the Bravo matchup: Remembrance, Enchanting Melody, and Sigil. Remembrance is because you're going to go late game. You have to shove your Sonic Booms or your Stir the Aethers and your Fort Lightnings back in the deck, because they can't block out a 12 attack.
Okay.
Enchanting Melody is a card that you can almost always keep triggered while blocking up against them. And if you have to take a hammer hit to keep a good hand, it just stops the hammer from dealing damage. It's one of your ways to dodge Starvo's ability. And this last card replaced my old defense reaction that pumped damage. It is the reason we added all the 0s to the deck.
So for people who don't know what it does, since it is pretty new, what does this card do?
It costs 1 to play, blocks for 2. Whenever you play a wizard card, it gets +2 defense. Make sure you specify that it resolves before you start playing your wizard cards, because if it hasn't resolved, it doesn't get the buff.
Okay.
That's why we play all the 0s in the Starvo matchup, so you can play it from Arsenal and hit any number of 0s off the top to keep pumping it. It allows you to dig as far as possible.
Okay. Cool. Does your brain hurt from playing this deck at all?
It's a mathematical based deck, so yes.
Okay.
Yes it does. Especially if you run into aggro decks, you should be fine, because you have 42 minutes left to break.
resolve a wildfire, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, if you resolve wildfire, the game ends.
You just go wildfire blazing, 8th game.
A big thing I will say that I have learned with the deck, arsling a wildfire feels good. It's not unless you're over unless half their life total is already gone.
Okay.
Because if you break those boots early, you're going to regret it.
Okay.
And
That's good advice.
It's a card that you never want to play on your turn. So like, if you have to triple block and you're left with a blue in hand, you're not going to play wildfire from your arsenal for 5,
Yeah.
and that's probably the right choice half the time.
Yeah.
Just to get the damage in.
Yeah.
But it's a card that it draws a lot of attention, so you have to be careful on only playing to it. You're still a Kano deck. You can still just out aggro most aggro decks without it. Just play it as a finisher, not as your actual line of play.
Okay. Any final words? Any shout outs you want to give to anybody you play with or anything?
Shout out to Nam. He's the only Bravo that I've never beaten that I played against. Every time he's been on Guardian, he's beaten me. He's actually the reason I put in Zaps, because he let me play test against him a few times last week after the tournament.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we need Zaps for this matchup. We need free cards to make the defense reaction playable.
Okay.
Another shout out to Sebastian. He did great. He literally lost to me in the finals before top 8 with a bad hand. I wish there were more non-Bravo players in top 8.
Here we are. Here we are. Awesome. Well, thank you for showing us the deck. I know a lot of other people is going to enjoy this as well. But yeah, if you guys will want to see an actual copy of the list too, so you can read along while you listen to him talk, we're going to have the FabDB link down in the description below, so you'll be able to check that out and be able to follow along and kind of see more or less what he played as a whole. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Justin, we appreciate you as always again. We'll see you tomorrow. In
See you tomorrow.
So
we'll do another interview tomorrow.
Yeah, right, when you win that one.
Yeah, when I win that one. I just keep going up.
Only way to go is up, right?
Yeah. No, I could go down.
Yeah, no, you can't go down. You're
I
right.
just high rolled out every game. It's fine.
Awesome. Well, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I love you all. Have a good one. Good night.
Shout out to TheCardGuyz.
Go team.